And welcome to This Week on 33rd Street, an actual Palestra edition. Senior Sports Editor Mike Toney here alongside Sports Editor Emeritus Mike Wisniewski. We're previewing Penn Princeton. This is it, last game of the year. Also, we've got Dartmouth-Harvard, recapping those. Mike, you were at those games. What was your takeaway from those games?
The Dartmouth-Harvard games to me was pretty much an epitome of the season of how good Penn can be and how bad Penn can be, because they couldn't have come out more flat against Dartmouth. Everything pretty much had to go wrong for them to lose to a team like Dartmouth at home. I mean, it was just a demoralizing loss. There was no energy from the team. There was no energy from the crowd. There were less than 2,000 people here. The first day of spring break, you know, the Penn team just looked like they didn't want to be here.
Right.
And they come out the next night against Harvard with the, the Palestra's pretty packed. The NBC sports cameras are rolling, they're on national TV, and then, they did everything right in that game. They played great defense. They forced Harvard into tough shots. They forced shot clock violations. They come down and they built such a huge lead that it carried them all the way through.
Right. And since I was at Brown and Yale, it was a little less markedly so, but still an epitome of the kind of, well, Coach Allen doesn't like this term, but schizophrenic Quaker squad that we've seen this year. At Brown, they were able to come back from a 64-58 deficit, 158 left to go. Really valiant effort from Miles Cartwright. 25 points. He was aggressive consistently throughout. Even when in the second half they tried to get on him more, he was able to dish. And Patrick Lucas Perry stepped up at that point. At Yale, a different story. Penn came out strong, wilted in the second half. I have to say this is one time when maybe the effort wasn't there. They just looked very disheveled. Gave up 48 points in the second half. No box outs, no defensive rotation. It was really an ugly half of basketball for Penn. And it might be something that's springing forward with Princeton coming up. Maybe they have the motivation there that Princeton doesn't after being deflated, knocked out of the Ivy title hopes. What do you think of that?
I think Princeton's going to come in completely demoralized because 3 days ago they were in the race to go to the NCAA tournament, and now they come into the Palestra. It's definitely not their favorite place to play.
Oh.
And then they're going to. And Penn does have something to play for. It's their last game at home. They want to. As bad a season as it's been, they can leave at least a decent impression in some people's minds if they were at the Harvard game, if they're at the Princeton game, like, oh, I saw Penn win these two big games. And I think Princeton just doesn't have as much to play for as Penn does.
Sure. Yeah, I will say that one advantage that Penn may have is they have a deeper team than Princeton does. Princeton relies very heavily on Ian Humbert and Coon. They only have 4 players that, don't quote me on this, but I think they have 4 players that average over 5 points a game, and that's it. I think it was 32-8 in favor of Penn in terms of bench points last time. It was a couple months ago now. But I think that would hold up again. Penn's going to be the deeper team. I don't know if that's going to be enough to push them over the top. I still think Princeton's going to pull this one out. I think you agree with that?
I do. I think Penn's going to come away with a win. I think it'll be pretty close to the end, but I think they'll actually pull away. Maybe not even the last second nail biter like there was against Harvard with that 3-point lead at the end. But I think Penn will close out the Palestra this year with a victory. Coach Allen, salvage another win, another year, and I think everybody will leave the Palestra happy on Tuesday.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see how much momentum that brings coming into 2013-14. Last year was quite the opposite, obviously. Who knows? Who knows what a win against Princeton could do going into next season? Well, we'll see, regardless. Sports Editor Emeritus Mike Wisniewski. I'm Senior Sports Editor Mike Toney, signing off from Palestra.